everybody. It's Ryan Rocky Mountain Cigar Show here. Welcome back to another live Thursday night episode. Tonight we have on an amazing guest, somebody that I'm proud to call a friend in this industry, and he always picks up my phone calls, which still shocks the shit out of me. But anyways, quick shout out to all of my sponsors for making this show possible. We have Drew Estate. We have BAMF Cigars as well as Don Olevian. So we were going throwing the BAMF up. Then we've got K by Karen Berger. And we also have Christoph Cigars. Maybe soon we're going to be bringing on somebody else that's absolutely amazing as well. Stay tuned. Last but certainly, well, actually not last but least, but second to last is New Air. So New Air, guys, is the best humidor that you can purchase for your home. Their system of heating and cooling, it's a built-in unit. It does the nano technology humid. Our guest could explain that a little bit more. It's nano something with humidifier that makes the particles small. I don't know. But anyways, definitely jump into the description of this show. Find my promo code and save yourself 15% off of their humidors. And while you're down there, go ahead and select BAMF's website from the description as well and use my promo code RMCS15 for 15% off both BAMF.com and ROCF.com. You need cigars to fill your new humidor. And finally, my drink of choice tonight, as always, with every night of the show, is my favorite bourbon. Not just saying that because they're sponsored. I actually chase them down. That's how much I like them so much. Tonight, we're going to be drinking the Axe and Oak bourbon whiskey finished in stout beer bottles. Now, it is a smaller bottle than normal. No, this is not one of those little airplane bottles, but if you could find this, this is absolutely fantastic. Fantastic bourbon. Tonight, we're going to be smoking I always screw this up. I just tried to go over this. He's going to tell me if I was wrong. L-U-I's. I am awful at these pronunciations, people. I am so sorry. It is the Wise Man. I'm going to let Brad actually say the name correctly because I can't speak ever. If you guys are in the Colorado area and would love to come to an amazing fundraiser, my partners listed at the bottom of this flyer are holding a silent auction, live auction, fundraising, cigar-centric bourbon, beer, wine, Fat Man appetizers, because I picked them. No little shrimp with some red sauce that you think's cocktail, and they only give you one. We got sliders, we got tacos, we have pot stickers. Don't want to get it mixed up, though. It's not a dinner. Although, if you want, you could probably fill up pretty well on it. We got plenty of food. We're doing these badass challenge coins as well with custom-made Glencairns to go with the challenge coin. And the Glencairn will actually be a topper, or the coin will be a topper for the Glencairn. It'll be seated in there to fit exactly over the top. Live music as well. And right now we have about 10 manufacturers coming, or I should say coming to the event. Several of them will be there. We have manufacturers providing stuff for the live and silent. It's only $150 ticket, and you're reading the ad entirely right. This is at a castle here in Colorado, just west of Morrison, Colorado, up the mountain. It is off in the background. The backyard looks like the best manicured golf course that you'll ever see. And on top of it, now I don't know that I would want to ride the rapids there, but the guy totally built a Deliverance style rapid in his backyard. And maybe for the right price, you can go, play Deliverance and hopefully you can survive the rapid. But for those of us that don't want to do that and stay dry, we can actually sit out on the deck overlooking the rapid, and all you hear is the sound of the water rushing, smoke a cigar, have a bourbon, and everything is to raise money for the Ronald McDonald House Charities. And all you got to do is go to eventbrite.com and search Rocky Mountain Cigar Night, You'll see listed all the partners that are working with us. If there is a lounge listed that you go to frequently, feel more than you have more than enough freedom to buy from that lounge, or I should say use the name on that. If you are not in the Denver area and you don't go to any of those lounges, no need to fear. Just choose a lounge and all the tickets are the exact same. Everyone's going to be getting a minimum of 5 cigars for the event, plus everything else is included, all inclusive, with ticket price and by parking, because there are more limited parking spots than there are tickets. So definitely jump over to eventbrite.com, Rocky Mountain Cigar Night. Come join us at a castle. You'll get cigars, drinks, food, and have the ability to take home some amazing items from the auction, all while raising money for Ronald McDonald House Charity. So enough of my fat mouth blabbling. Let's go ahead and bring in the reason why everybody's even watching the show tonight, because as sure as hell isn't me. We have on my good friend,
hey guys, hey!
We have on Brad Reith from Zeal Cigars. How you doing?
Hey guys,
tonight?
how you doing? Very, very good. Doing very, very good. So there's a little bit of delay, and I'll do my best to keep up with your energy. So it's at the end of my day. It's probably the beginning of your day. So I'm chilling. I've smoked plenty of cigars today and everything like that. I'm smoking the Primordial by Zeal House Brands right now, and this is our cookie dough cigar. So cookie dough, beautiful, love it. Go to zealcigars.com if you want a cookie dough cigar. And other than that, the mic's yours, man. Ask me whatever you want, and I'll tell you no lies.
Well, let's start with. I see you're painting your fingernails these days, but you only seem
Yeah,
to be
I'm
doing
not
one.
flicking you off. I swear I'm not flicking you off. That's one of the comments I get on my videos a lot. Why you stop flicking me off with your poorly painted nails? No, so just so you guys know, it's an actual bruise. I'm not painting my nails. The other day, so when you become 48, that means you have teenagers as children. And
Yes, happy belated birthday again, Brad.
yes,
By the way,
thank you, man. I appreciate it. A great birthday, and it's been wonderful. I've loved every year that I've turned more than the year that I've had in the past. So every year has been great. It's a gift from God, so I'm very excited. But when you're 48, you got teenagers, and my teenage boy has no idea what it means to conserve energy in Arizona, where the air conditioner is on pretty much 24/7, and he leaves his door open. And so, just so you know, during the day we close off all the vents to the rooms we're not sleeping in, so we can keep the house cold. And so I told him 5,000 times, like, shut your door. And so I went and grabbed this door. I went to shut it. My finger got stuck in the door jamb, and boom! And there was less than holy words that came out of my mouth at that point, and I was in pain greatly. And it's been here for a minute. I mean, it's been here for a minute. So I've never done it to any of my nails, but I've heard that the fact that my nail is still on there, I'm doing well. Thing. So I've heard it comes out. So
yes, I have smashed my nails indoors or my fingers in anything that it shouldn't be smashed in because it hurts.
See, my whole hand's a testament to my helping my kids. This up here, I was working on my daughter's car. She's got a new car. I was taking the old headlights out, putting LEDs in, and so it'd be brighter for her on the road. So I want my kids to be safe. And I'm an old car head, nuthead, that kind of thing. So she got an old Honda, and I'm switching out the lights and cut the back of my hand on the light. She goes, "Dad, you're bleeding." And like any good dad, I would quote Jesse the Body Ventura from Predator, "I ain't got time to bleed," and continue to put the lights in. And I was like, yeah, that kind of thing. So it was kind of fun.
So what was, since your birthday was only a few days ago, what did you end up doing on your birthday? And what were some of the great cigar lineups that you smoked?
So typically what we do is celebrate my birthday on the 4th, along with the greatest country on earth, America. And so watching fireworks, stuff like that. But my kids, it's very different now when you're older. I'm almost an empty nester. So my kids were out with friends, and they're like, "Dad, do we have to stay here with you and Mom?" And we're like, "No, you don't. Go ahead and go." I married my best friend, the love of my life, and everything like that. I can't wait till my kids are gone and I can spend it's just her and I again. So they were all gone for my birthday, and they're like, "Dad, here, we got this for your birthday." I'm like, "Hey, thanks. Take off with your friends, have fun." So my wife and I had a nice steak dinner together, and really, really enjoyed each other's company. And And the same thing on Friday. The next day was actually my birthday. My sister made some great cupcakes. My favorite cake to eat is confetti cake. So I love it. And
Okay.
so she made confetti cake cupcakes and loved them. So, I mean, like that, I just love that. So very simple, not really drawn out. I've already got what I want for my birthday, which is, great friendships like you and other people around the industry and things like that. So, I mean, there's nothing I need. I told my wife there's nothing I need. And, but I did get one thing. I had, here's a little, I'll give you a little bit of my unknown story about Bradley. I am a ranked Warzone gamer, if you would. So I can play that a little bit. Yeah, I know. So usually when my kids, I don't ever tell you with this. When my kids go to bed and everyone's quiet in the house after about 9:30 or something like that, I can't go to bed. I'll game a little bit, and I got guys around the country I play with, and so on and so forth. And my headset that goes on there, I talk to them with, and I do it more for social acumen and stuff like that. And then I actually literally tell people a lot about our channel, a lot about cigars. They're like, "Oh my god!" The best part is I was playing with one guy before, and he saw my gamer tag. He said, "That's a fun gamer tag." And I won't share it because I don't want everyone friending me. And he goes, "That's funny." So I said, "I'm actually a YouTuber." And he goes, "What?" And I said, "Yeah, I have a channel called, Best Cigar Reviews on YouTube for Zeal Cigars." And he goes, "Oh my gosh, this is Bradley!" And he actually watched the videos. And so I was absolutely, enamored by it. That was really kind of fun. So I got a new headset for my birthday. I really enjoyed that. And, but I'm very simple. I'm a blue collar guy. I got everything I need. Everything else goes to my kids.
Well, after the show, I will be asking for your gamer tag because I also.
That's fine. I'll give it to you. I won't give it out to everybody else though, because
PlayStation or Xbox.
Xbox X. Yeah, Xbox X.
Xbox. Ooh,
yeah,
you actually found one? Congratulations.
Yeah, that was my Christmas present a while back. My wife found one, and she goes, "There's one on sale for like $600. Do you want it?" And I'm like, "That's a deal right now. Yeah, go ahead and get it." And so, yeah, I got that a while back, and so Justin and I will play once in a while. He's got some guys that he plays with, and Justin's a big gamer. I'm not that big of a gamer, but I try, and I like talking to people, and I like talking smack and stuff like that, and having fun and all that kind of stuff. So I do it once in a while, but it's more of a a hobby than it is any kind of thing. But I had no idea that I was decent at the game. I thought I was pretty good, but so if guys are my KD ratio is, I guess what they asked that is, I'm pretty good on my KD ratio. I don't know what that is, so I think
it's
it's
your kill death ratio. I think last I looked was a 1.31 for me.
Mm-hmm.
I by the way, I really only ever play Call of Duty, so I'm looking very forward to the new. I got my Xbox, my PlayStation sitting down here because I come out. My wife will watch her shows while she does other stuff around the house.
Yeah.
So I kind of give her alone time, and then we kind of come back together at the end of the night and hang out before bed, watch the show. So it's actually it's pretty nice.
Yeah, my kids go to bed, they're either out real late and I'm waiting up for them, and there's only so much you can watch. I mean, it really is. I mean, you have all the streaming channels in the world and you still feel bored. And it's not football season. So if it's not football season, I'm usually watching football because football is my favorite sport. Big college, big NFL fan. So I got nothing to do. And there's no basketball, there's no other sports on or anything else like that. So you can only watch ESPN so much. And I can't stand hockey. And so I'm like watching hockey stuff. I don't care about that. I don't care about the NBA all that much. And so, I'm watching there's only so much you can watch about mini camps in the NFL. And then, so finally I'll get on there for, an hour or something like that and play if I can. So.
Well, since you had brought up playing with friends, I would love for you to give a friend of mine, Tag, a shout out. Because when I told him I do a YouTube show, of course, he knew nothing about my show. Mm-hmm. And he goes, I buy cigars from this place in Arizona called Zeal. And I'm like, oh, you watch Brad's show? And he's like, you know Brad? I'm like, yeah. And then I thought back to that moment where you called me and I about dropped my phone and we started talking and became friends. But I'm like, yeah, you watch the show Thursday. I'll make sure Brad says hi to you. So Brad, you give a little shout out to my buddy Tag.
Tag, big shout out to Tag, love you. Thanks so much for purchasing cigars from Zeal Cigars, and thanks again. I hope to meet you someday. And whoops, my mic fell. Hope to meet you someday, and I hope you're having a great day, man. I really do. So, shout out to Tag. Tag, you're it.
Now, let's kind of talk about, because you and I have talked privately about the fact that cigars are just getting more and more expensive. It feels like
Yeah.
prices keep
Yeah.
going up, and prices are going up because inflation's going up. Manufacturers are having to raise rates. However, there's another aspect that I'm very curious to get your take on that doesn't affect the cigar, alcohol, gun world, if you're going to say, because they're not requirements to life. You know, they're, what's the word I'm looking for? Luxuries.
Yes.
And, you know, with gas going up absorbently, you and I have talked about that, and groceries going up like crazy. I know we're up 20 or plus percent over what we were last year.
Mm.
How is that affecting, you know, a good customer that comes in every week, buys, just throwing a number out, 10 cigars? What are they buying today?
Well, I'll say that the cigar industry in general is down because of this, because it is a luxury, and most guys that smoke cigars do so either frequently or infrequently. I think the average cigar smoker will smoke 3 times a month if they're an avid cigar smoker. Not to
Okay.
mention like guys that smoke all the time like we do. But what we found and what's really hedged us for this is that we find more people smoking our house blends, because our house blends are incredibly affordable, anywhere from $2 all the way up to about, I think, $7 or $8 our max, and most of them fall in the $4 to $6 range. And so as a result of that, they're getting premium longleaf cigars that are really good, that are our house brands, that are guaranteed just as premium, and they're made the same factories as some of the big boys are, by some of the same big boys. We just, call them our own, if you would. As far as the blends are concerned, they're made for us. So it's really unique on that. We've seen that spike tremendously. But when it comes to the major brands, you're right. A lot of people aren't buying them, and we've seen a major slow in that. Now, some of that happens with summer, anyways, because it is summer, and the economy, if you've not been watching, has not been suitable for enjoying the lighter luxuries in life, if you would. So it's having a connect right now. That's awesome, Tex. The it's a weird day for the cigar industry, but we'll bounce back. We've seen this before. We've seen guys. We've seen the industry go down and come back up, and everything else like that. I think it's unique right now because the people in charge, of the economy right now aren't really making, some great. Give me a second. I got a phone call. Going,
You're fine.
Mr. President, how you doing, sir? Sorry, I'm kind of in the middle of something right now. Yeah. Thank you for doing my phone call. I just thought I thought the, the 5 million barrels to China. I wasn't sure about that. I mean, it's kind of affect us, Yeah, yeah. Bra- Bradley Reith, sir. Bradley Reith, sir. Yes. That's right. Zeal Cigars. Yeah. So I just wanted to get that in your ear real quick. I appreciate you taking my phone call and everything like that, but you might want to rethink that move because it may not be great for the economy. All right, sir. Thank you so much. I appreciate. Yeah, I'm live right now with Ryan from Rocky Mountain. Oh, you know Ryan? Oh, you
I'm
give him a
sure they
call.
have a file.
Okay, yeah, okay. I'll tell him you said hi. Yeah, make sure you take your pills. All right, thank you, sir. All right, bye bye. That's my political junction for the video. Yeah, I think with the economy being the way that it is, people. I mean, you got to choose between gas and cigars. You're going to choose gas. I mean, you got to work,
Sure.
and I think that's where it's at right now. So I think that's part of what's going on. I think the other part is there's been a long time coming an increase for cigars. Cigars did not increase very much in the last 3 to 5 years. And so I think a lot of people have taken advantage of that, saying like, the supply chains are down. It's harder to get cigars than it ever has before. Usually you get your cigars in a week turnaround. Now a lot of stuff's on back order because because we just came through COVID, and then they're just trying to rehire rollers and get things going back at the normal. Nicaragua, Dominican Republic, Honduras, and other places like that roll. So I think it's causing kind of a slowdown in the industry altogether. Not to mention, cigar sales are just slower in general right now. So if you have a product that you can offer people that's just as good as the premiums they've been buying at half the price, like Zeal does, I think that's one of the things that keeps us going at the pace that we're going.
So let me ask you, because I know you sell a ton of house blends, a
9 to 1, dude.
ton.
That's how many we sell, 9-1. For every one premium we sell 9 of our house brands.
So let me ask you, have you ever done a Pepsi challenge, for lack of a better demonstration or lack of a better example, with clients that come in that pick up a cigar and you go, I tell you what, let me give you this, try it. If you like it, great, you could pay for it. If you don't,
I do that all the time, Ryan. I mean, somebody comes in and particularly they want a Padron. They want a Padron. I don't carry Padron. I do carry some other ones that are really high name, high labels. But they want a Padron just simply because I think Padrones are really highly overrated, and I think they're very highly overpriced, to be quite honest with you. And that's not a slam on the Padron family. They've done a great job of what they're doing. But everybody knows that Padrones have not been the same for the last 10 years. So, and you could try to blame that. They could try to blame that on whatever else. Everyone else's cigars have been the same. They really have, to be honest with you. So I'll take them and I'll go to a different one of our brands or another brand, and I'll say, try this. If you don't like it, you don't have to buy it, but I'd like to see what you think. And I've not had one person in the multiple hundreds of times, and I mean hundreds, by the way, times of them trying that ever go, yeah, this isn't that good. Or to be fair, because I'm looking at Liga Privada number 9, and we have a stick called Liga Midnight, which is we call the Kirkland version of Liga Privada number 9, because it has some of the same tobacco in it. One of the big things I do is I tell them the Liga Privada number 9 is a $16 to $18 cigar depending on what size you get, right? So here's my Liga Midnight. Let's try this. Is the Liga Privada number 9 worth $10 more than this cigar? That's the question I have for you. And I've never had one person go, yes, it is. Not had one person, to be honest with you. So that's why we did it. And Drew doesn't like to hear that, and other guys don't like to hear that because they want to keep a thing. But I sell Liga Privada number 9s too. I do. But I sell 9-1 Liga Midnights over Liga Privada number 9s.
So how have you seen your house blends grow over the past 6 months since all this shit's been going on, or even longer, 8 months since all this shit's been going on, versus the quote unquote bigger brands?
So somebody said Coco Chemist. We sold like 5,000 of those in 5 hours. It's crazy. So
that's a fantastic stick.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, but the Primordial Connecticut, we sold I think 7,000 of those in maybe 5 or 6 hours. So it's outlandish how fast they all go. That's one of our biggest issues is we get it in and then we sell it. And people are like, well, why can't you get them back in? And I'm trying to do that. Yeah. So somebody asked me, have I considered a subscription for our house blends? Yes, that's coming in fall, and I'm working on it right now with our web designer. So I can even show you.
There he is.
Yeah. Is that
That's
Tag?
That's Tag. That's Tag.
Yeah. So Tag, you can look out for Zeal Team 6. We're going to call it Supply Drop. So it's going to be a supply drop every month. And it's actually going to have 3 of our house blends and 3 premium blends, if you would. So 3 of our house blends. And we're going to start releasing brand new house blends just in that subscription. So, and you can get a subscription for 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, or a whole year. And obviously the price goes down the more you get. And that,
now, big question about that, is there limited quantities to that subscription?
Initially, there will be. So initially, we there will be. I'm trying to spread the word of Zeal Cigars. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Texas Taurus. So will it be limited? Yeah. So we'll probably initially offer like only 300 initially, and then only 1,000 initially, and then only 2,000, and we'll build that way. The reason is, I mean, there has to be, if I did a 10,000 sign up, and all of a sudden I have 10,000 cigars I have to get in and I have to guarantee that they're in by that time. I can't depend on any manufacturer to give me that amount of cigars immediately that quickly, if you would. So, and it's really, what you're really looking for is a month turnaround time. So you sign up in August, you get the September supply drop, from
Sure.
Zeal 6, and we'll have some other stuff in there that we give out some Zeal house brand only stuff that we do for that. That include, some lighters, cutters, things like that we'll include. But we also won't tell everybody what they're going to get. So they're not going to be like, hey, here's this month's drop. So it's going to be kind of a mystery bag. So
everybody gets the same thing though, right?
Yes. Yeah. Everybody will get the same thing. Yeah.
Are you going to do an early registration just so you can gauge the first month?
Yeah, it's when I'm done with this, I want you to ask me about my next venture, but I'll tell you about this because it
Of
parlays off that.
course. Of course.
So I'm at the end of my primordial, so I'm trying to nurse it. You can see it's coming apart at the very top because I bite my cigar. Like, arr, you know. So the yeah, so it's you just have to stage it. You just have to stage it. So the other guys have done this before, have all staged it, and or they're putting forth tremendous amounts of cigars and then they're sitting on them. You know, we don't want to sit on cigars. We want to sell them and get them out to everybody. Yes, the drop will include the awesome stickers and everything else like that. What's even better about the drop is you'll get an exclusive Zeal House brand sticker with a QR code, so you can stick it wherever you want, and then essentially pop on your phone, click and order it, and you're right back to it. I think I lost Ryan. I hope Ryan's still
Nope,
here.
nope. I'm here. I was just putting you on.
Oh, okay, okay.
I was grabbing something and just didn't want anyone to see me go off camera.
Okay, you're good.
By the way, if anybody's trying to figure out what these awesome stickers are, they give amazing logo stickers, and I keep mine nice and pristine so they don't get destroyed.
You're actually illegal at night, yeah.
I'm gonna do something with all of these someday.
We've had guys like put them on their tables, have like a cigar table or humidor, and
put
them on their
That's
humidors.
what. There we go.
One of my favorite things, Zeal Team 6. That's the white label, man. That's a newer one that came out. Yeah. So all the labels that will come out from henceforth will have a QR code on them that'll let you go directly to the site and get the cigar again, so that you don't have to go back and find it on the site if you would. So our site's really, really fast. Our site's much improved from where it has been. It's nowhere we want it to be, but it's much improved than it has was. Stick them on my humidor. Awesome, dude. Yeah, the drops will include all the stickers. Yeah, one of my favorite things to do is go around Phoenix once in a while, and I'll see people smoking cigars, even at different shops, with my logos on their water flask, and I love it. I'm just like, that's so great. And or the other better part is I've had other people call me, other shops call me and go, "Hey, do you guys carry the Primordial?" I'm like, "Well, yeah." And they're like, "How did you get it? Who's the rep for that?" I'm like, "Well, I'm the rep for it." And they're like, "Oh, is this one of your house brand?" I'm like, "Yeah, it is." I'm like, "Oh, it's exclusive, isn't it?" I'm like, "Yeah, it is." So that's one of the things that keep people coming back, is where they want to get that. And primarily our blends, I'd say probably probably about 75% of our blends are exclusively made for us, and nobody else can get them anywhere else. There are some other blends that we share with other people.
Now, before we switch topics, I do have to ask you on topic. Do you carry stickers around in your truck? Because he drives a big truck. Do you carry stickers around in your truck and like stick them on light poles? And what was that first feeling like when you saw somebody outside of your shop have your stickers? Did you say thank you? Did you introduce, or did you just walk by with a smile?
So, yeah, first off, I try not to. So the feeling's amazing. It really is when you see that. And do I carry stickers under my truck? And do I stick them everywhere out I can find in the desert on every sign all the time, and drive-throughs and everything? 100%. I'm that guy. I'm the idiot that sticks them. I'm giving them out to people like, "Hey man, you should see this." Like, Zeal Team 6. Wait, were you a SEAL? At that point, if I happen to have a good story behind it, I might throw it in there. I don't ever claim to be a SEAL. I'm not a SEAL. Never had that. My dad was in the Navy. He was a Marine Corpsman. But that's the Zeal Team 6 thing. That was started right when we founded the company. Right when we founded the company, I thought, like, what's going to be our social media status? What are we going to call it? Zeal Cigars is just hard to say. And I thought, Zeal Team 6, we'll do that. And we'll play on that, because I have great respect for the military. And my dad was just loving it. And so that was one of the reasons we called it that. So, yeah. And how do you remember Brad Reith? Hope you have. Oh, what's up, Dan Thompson?
I love
that dude, man. He's so
good.
Dan. He's so great. He really is.
And he's at PCA probably. So he's taking time out to watch my show. Thank you so much, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
Dan is from Untitled Cigars, everyone.
Untitled, incredible cigars, guys. Incredible.
Absolutely. Big friend of the show. And they're actually going to be doing something for our fundraising event that we have going on.
That's awesome.
So big shout out to McAllen.
I'll tell you what, man. A lot of guys will ask me, where do I get my business acumen from or anything else like that. I don't think I have much, but I was mentored by a guy who was one of the executives for Procter and Gamble. So for about 7 years, believe it or not. So, but one of my favorite conversations I ever had was with Al McAuliffe after we filmed my show. We had a conversation in my lounge for about 2 hours. I was just asking him questions about business and everything else like that. Very generous guy, very very awesome dude. One of the best people, human beings I've met, and he's a really cool guy. So maybe even a bigger believer in McAuliffe.
I would love to get Al on the show. And when we do, we'll absolutely ask him a lot of business advice because
Yeah,
I think Al would be a fantastic mentor
yeah,
to really anybody. And I know he is one to
he's
Dan.
great.
But I do want to ask you about your next venture that you brought up
Right.
as well.
I do have the keys to the vet still. He gave me the keys to his vet, which is so great. I thank you so much. I look at him often. They sit over here right next to my desk stand, and I got a chance to drive his vet. It was wonderful. I barely fit, but I fit, and it was great. I had to suck in the old gut a little bit, but it was great. And he's just a generous guy, and I think the guys like Al McAuliffe who have a generous heart and business acumen and things like that stepped in the cigar industry only made it better. They really did. And Andy Yaffe is a good friend of mine, his national sales guy. He's a great guy too, and love Andy, and all those people are wonderful at McAuliffe. All of them are. Brandon Luna, all those guys are great. My next business
Absolutely.
venture. So I said ask me about it. So we are I have three other partners in this next business venture, and I am selling men's soap in cigar
Ooh.
boxes, old cigar boxes. So
Ooh.
you will have the opportunity to go to cigarsoapbox.com, which doesn't exist yet, but will soon, and know about us. And we have another YouTube channel, and you'll see all my business partners. We have a podcast starting called Blue Collar Billionaires, and that money goes beyond, or that wealth goes beyond money. And we'll talk about friendship, all things masculinity, all that kind of stuff, cigars, whiskey, and soap. Believe it or not, so that's our next venture that we're launching into, and we should be launching sometime probably in the next week. So you can watch
Well,
out for
there you
that. It'll be
go.
kind of fun, and very very excited about it. Super proud of the people that I'm working with on this. That are you guys have never met, and they're not in the cigar industry whatsoever. They're in the soap industry, so that's kind of fun. But we're coming after Dr. Squatch and Duke Cannon and all those guys, and trying to make a name for ourselves, taking a piece of the pie. So it'll be kind of fun.
So you're gonna see Brad all over TikTok now, just like Dr. Squatch commercials, left and
It's gonna
right.
be good. It's
He'll be
gonna be
filling
nuts,
your
dude.
feed.
All the
So
we already have
are
it.
you doing like beard stuff, or is it body? Is
We'll
it the hard bar? Is it a
we'll move.
liquid?
Yeah, so no, it's hard bar. We'll move into those other areas eventually, but eventually we just want to start with just what we want for guys. And you get a man card, you get a soap scrubber, you get 3 bars of soap and 1 or 4 bars of soap depending on what you want. And then you can buy the soaps initially. So initially when we launch, yeah, cigars, whiskey, and soap. Thanks, Dan. It's really cool. It's something that we had a bunch of guys, bunch of investors come in and talk to us about with the social media prowess that we have. And if you think I'm social media ready or anything like that, or I've done anything, the guys that I work with are just crazy awesome. They really are. I mean, imagine Matt Best, okay, Matt Best from what's that called, Black Rifle, okay,
Yeah.
that kind of personality and soap. So I mean, they're incredible. I'm nowhere near the personality these guys are. So these guys are incredible. They knew me. I coached one in football, mentored, and one of them's a real good friend of mine. And so it's just an incredible marriage of great guys with great business acumen, way more than I have. And I just happen to have the marketing, side to me that can put things on the table and get things sold eventually. So we're excited about that. We're initially going to launch with only 100 boxes. So the first 100 guys that get it, and there'll be 4 types of boxes. So, and they're all mystery. So everything is a mystery. So you get your mystery soap, but how it's going to launch is the first 100 people that sign up and get it. That's the first 100 boxes that we get, and you'll have the very first cigarsoapbox.com box if you get it. So the first 100 to sign up, that's it, and those are gone. And that's the very first soap that we've ever sold, which I'm
Are you
very excited about. By the way, I mean I got 10,000 cigar boxes up there we're using, and we will sell soap individually too, and in different little packs and everything like that. But we have 4 different types of soap boxes to get initially as you get going, which are all themed, like Midnight Elixirs, one for like, dark scents and stuff like that. We have one called the Woodsman. We have one called, all these different things. You know what it is. You'll see it eventually.
Now, since it's going to be 100 at launch, and that's going to be a big
Just
deal.
100.
Are
Just
you going to
100.
be autographing each box that goes out?
Exactly what we're doing. Yeah,
Perfect.
all 4 of us. All 4. We'll be autographing it and put a little note in there and stuff like that. It's really cool. It's kind of it's a startup. It's a startup, which is cool. So I was part of a. It was weird to be so. It wasn't such a transition to come in the cigar industry because I've been in the cigar industry. This is like a startup. It's all startup stuff. It's all pretty cool. So I'm very, very excited about it. And to work with these guys are cool. The Rhapsody. Yeah. Love the Rhapsody, dude. Rhapsody's a good stick. Getting the soap before franchise. What scents are we launching with? Lots of them, dude. We have over 40 already. Yeah. And they're we call it man-crafted cigars, for men, by men. And we're taking back masculinity in a way that is chivalrous and adding value to the brotherhood. That's our whole shtick, is to drive masculinity in this direction of chivalry and brotherhood. That's our whole thing.
So the beauty of it is you could go get stinky with a cigar from Zeal Cigars, get stinky with some scotch, and then get clean for your wife.
Do you want to hear how this all began? So how
yeah,
it all began?
I would love to.
How it all began is a couple of guys and I that originated the company. We started talking, and he said, "I got some soap in from this small boutique place in an undisclosed location. I'll say that it is in America. It is all American made soap, and I washed my hands beforehand. My wife, I came home. I washed my hands and my face before I came home, and my wife's like, "You smell really good. You don't smell like cigars." And I'm like, "Well, I use this new soap that I got from blah blah blah." And she's like, "Is that like Dr. Squatch? Is it Duke Cannon?" I'm like, "No, it is unnamed at this point." And so I had an idea to do something like that, and we're very, very excited about it. And so my wife, so it's the best soap that I found that cleans off the cigar smell. That's where we originally. Now, will all those do that? I'm not sure because I haven't used all the soaps myself. I love what you're doing, Bradley. That time he's a great man. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. To even be considered anywhere near good is a blessing to me. So I definitely wouldn't call myself great. I call myself okay. I'm a work in progress. That's for sure. But coming from you, Dan, who is a great man that I consider a great man, I appreciate the compliment. But yeah, so that's going to be a very exciting thing. I can't wait to do. So yeah, if you like their pine tar, you're going to like ours. We got one called Rhino Skin that you're going to like. It's Pursuit of Greatness, dude. I'm with you on that. I'll tell you a couple of them. Oh, gosh, I don't have them in front of me. We have one called Whiskey Sour. We have one called what's it called? Yeti Hunter. We have one called I forget what it's called. We have a bunch of them. Snake Venom is one. There's a bunch of other ones. You'll see them eventually. They'll be all over social media and stuff like that, and you'll see all that.
Now, Brad, give everybody just a little inside scoop into, if I may, just some of the background around what it actually takes. Because you said you have over 40 brands. These are names. My guess is these are trademarked. You have
yes.
So, like, what kind of startup? How long have you been planning this? What has this been kind of in the works?
About a year. It's been about a year we've been planning it. So there takes a lot. Whenever you do a startup, it takes a lot of planning. And I'm very privileged to know several guys who have cigars and soap combos. We've thought about that. We have to be very careful with the cigar and soap thing because one is not regulated, one is regulated. So if Zeal buys from Cigar Soapbox, we can use that and then put cigars in and sell them through Zeal.
Correct.
So that's something that we considered. But initially the launch is just going to be soap. Yeah, we've considered that. And you could probably look for some holiday gifting ideas there. So, yeah, it takes a while. I've been privileged to know several guys who've been very successful in startups. One of them's a good friend of mine, just sold his for a bunch of money back in Ohio, and asking him some advice is, I mean, we originally wanted to start this last October. That was when we first started the idea
Okay.
and started branding and everything else like that. And all the logos we designed, all the logos. I wish I could show you the Cigar Soapbox logo. I don't know if I can. Can I put it in the comments?
You could. You might be able to, but you might also be able to share your screen if that works.
Let's see if I
I don't
can.
know if that'll work.
If I
I'm only ever on the admin side of this thing.
oh, it says share screen. It's a share screen.
There you
Okay,
go.
so I'll show you our main logo. Oh, I don't know if I can actually. Actually, you know what? I can. Let me see if I can do this real quick. Just hang with me real quick,
Sure.
and I'll show you. I'm just gonna give you a really quick idea of what our website looks like. I'll hit share screen, uh, open preferences. Uh, Maybe I can't. I don't think I can.
No
No,
worries.
no, that's okay.
People get to
I,
see it in a week. Everybody
yeah,
pay attention to Zeal Cigars. And then
yeah.
after we kind of go through this, I want you to explain to everybody the new platform you're working with it, since YouTube absolutely hates everything ATF now.
They do.
So
They do, man. I'll be brief. So, yes, the soapbox thing's really cool. I'm excited about that. And I'll show you more about that later on. Uh, so we worked with several different new platforms. We still do have a YouTube channel. It's called Best Cigar Reviews on YouTube. So if you go to Best Cigar Reviews on YouTube, you see the Zeal Team 6 symbol. That's our channel. That's been a backup channel, and so everything on there. The main reason YouTube canceled our channel and took our channel down, which was very devastating for us, to be honest with you.
oh, for sure. You've been on there so long.
Yeah, that's 3 years of work down the tubes. So how do I say this politically correctly? I think
It
YouTube's a bunch
doesn't
of
need to be.
Nazis. I think that they are triggered by anything ATF or anything that young people get their hands on, which is more of a parental issue, not a social media issue. So I think in that space, I think I've been one of the most generous and very cautious people, but nevertheless, they took us down because we were one of the most influential ones. Our videos were getting 3,000, 4,000 views in a couple of days,
Yep.
and now we're because we had to age restrict our videos and they shadow banned us, we're getting maybe 500 to 600 views a day, which is nothing compared to what we were getting. So we're building back up. And one of the big things that they did for us on the new channel, on the new channel there, is that they made us age restrict all of our content. And some guys don't. And when you don't age restrict your content, what I believe happens is thanks, Bruce. I appreciate sharing the website. You run the risk of YouTube banning you at any point because that could be conditioned to sell or attempted. They call it like attempt to sale or something like that. So,
Yep.
so that was one of the reasons we got axed. Another reason was I kept making videos calling out YouTube, and they cited that very sternly.
Did they really?
Yeah. This is something that you're doing, and well, they didn't exactly cite that aspect of it. They cited all the videos that I called them out in. So I mean,
Oh
it's
my
kind of
gosh.
a backhanded compliment. So, but I've learned to play nice with YouTube now as best I can because they are the biggest platform. So I do. Really say hey, thanks so much, man. I appreciate that tag. The hard part is, just doing everything you can to not say sales or we did this or this is our cigar or anything else like that. So while it still might be our cigar, we can't claim that or do that or anything else like that because then they would say you're attempting to sell it. And if you have sales or any links to anything on YouTube that goes to another cigar website, an actual cigar website, it's just a matter of time before they ban you. And so,
Yeah, I'm about to get banned then because I don't really care. I'm going to do what I want to do. I have
right,
age restricted
dude,
my stuff,
yeah,
and I only use YouTube for lives.
right, dude.
Everybody can find me on Rumble.
Video 6 times. We were trying to understand it more. What did Dan say? Zeal, TikTok, we don't understand but we had a video run 6,000 times, so we are trying to send more. Yeah, dude, that's great. 60K, that's wonderful on TikTok.
That's huge.
Yeah, it really is. And there's a couple of TikTokers I know, and so I don't know all the algorithms and everything behind TikTok like I did YouTube, and so learned that stuff pretty quick. But the algorithm on TikTok and the shorts and everything else like that, we're just trying to play nice as long as we can until we can't anymore. So we do have backup pages both at Rumble and HowTube. So Rumble's good, but it's kind of scatterbrained, and it kind of speaks of conspiracy theory more stuff than just anything. So, and I'm not anti-conspiracy theory because a lot of a conspiracy theory is only a conspiracy theory until it's proven true, and you're like, holy crap! Everyone thought Espion's Island was a conspiracy theory. Well, look at Espion now; he's gone. So all those things, it's a little different for us in that regard. And playing in the social media space is very, very different, if you would. And I'm not. You're right. Somebody said my kids said I'm too old for TikTok. My kids cringe every time they see a video from me. They're just like, oh my gosh, dude, you're so old. Get off TikTok. Get off social media. My son, I'll do a video eventually with my son because I force him to. But he hates the fact that I'm on. He hates the fact that his friends watch me on YouTube and things like that. So like it's hysterical. They're all over 18. But before they weren't. I mean, anybody could watch our videos, and obviously you can't buy unless you're 21. So.
And you do clean videos. You don't curse. You don't cuss. You're not arguing. It's not a reality show.
It's such a shame, man. Like
privately, though, you do. No, I'm just totally kidding.
I am privately. I'm a potty mouth, dude. I try to put that on for the tourists, man. The tourists look at me and think I'm nice, and I'm just really a mean son of a whatever. Background. No, I try to be genuine in who I am all the time, and but it's weird that that happens, and it's regrettable. So, but we are on platforms like Local. We're on Rumble. We're on HowTube. We're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. All that and what's interesting, Facebook is where we get most of our hits from. So most people are on Facebook. Yeah. And Facebook has not restricted any sales or anything like that, or any showing of any cigar stuff. Thank God we're still free there. But
absolutely.
Google and the super wild left leaning. I mean, you can read. It's just weird, dude. You can read the weirdest sexualized books to your kids on YouTube, but I get banned for smoking cigars
or smoke pot.
It's you can do anything on YouTube, but you can't. You smoke cigars. And you try to tell people about good cigars and better cigars, things like that. All of a sudden, they think you're trying to sell to minors, and I never have, never will, and for whatever reason, YouTube's just covering their own assets, I guess. Something like that.
Now, speaking about minors, I did want to ask you about your take, because I would think and classify that, and again, I fully support anybody naming any cigar whatever they want. Fruity Pebbles, Rocky Road,
sure,
Cocoa Chemist, anything you want, because you don't target those to kids, and it's very obvious that you're not targeting those to kids.
Yeah.
But what is your concern if the FDA starts putting some of these branding restrictions? Would that affect you?
So I don't think they're going to come after the premium cigar industry, because most people in the premium cigar industry, when you smoke a premium cigar, you usually didn't have that. And we found that in the big study that somebody did recently. Most people don't have their first premium cigar until they're of age at least 21 or at least 24. Between 21 and 24 is when you have your first premium cigar, if you would. In America, I don't know what that's like in other places, but in America, that's kind of how it is. Now, if you talk about cigarettes, dip, nicotine, jewels, or anything else like that, it's a whole different category. And the problem that we've seen in the industry is they're trying to put us all together, and we're not. We're completely different. If you're going to pay, $10 for a cigar versus, $3 for a jewel, I mean, it's a whole different, experience, if you would. So I don't see anybody who's of age, other than the FDA people who try to get one over on us, who come in and they come in the most outlandish outfits and try to buy cigars. And we're like, let me see your ID. I had a lady come in the other day, and I'm positive this is the FDA. Positive. she comes in from she's here from China, and she's Asian, and she says, I want to buy cigars for my guest tonight. And it just so you know, this isn't a sexist statement, but 98% of my 98% of my people that come in here, customers, are men. So a woman
Sure.
comes in, I'm very excited about it. And this woman had no idea what cigars were or anything like that. And then gives me, I said, "Can I see your ID?" She goes, "I don't have it." I look the part, and I'm like, I can't tell. I'm sorry, I can't sell it to you. Then she gives me her China ID in Asian, and I can't read Chinese. So I'm like, I'm not sure this works, And she got frustrated and walked out. And I said, well, I mean, that could have been a whole setup from the FDA. So they're trying to target cigar shops, little bitty cigar shops like us, and just doing everything they can to smack us anytime, if you would. So free speech out of the regulatory chess game. It's dumb. Get paid with package. Oh, I know, dude. It's such a pain in the rear end. All this regulatory stuff, and uh, I'm looking forward to the time that we get free again in America, because this is just outlandishly stupid. It really is. So
So
I don't
I
believe.
really want to. I really want to touch. Hold on. I don't mean to. I really want to. So the FDA is stinging
Yes, 100%,
companies like their
100%,
local law enforcement.
100%,
That is
100%,
ridiculous.
dude.
That is
Happened
obnoxious.
2 or 3 times in a 6-month span with us. Your
Wow.
tax dollars hard at work. Your tax dollars hard at work.
Wow.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
the Madhouse Maduro is better than the Rossi. Dude, the Madhouse Maduro is a great stick, dude. That's a very good stick. Yeah, I remember that. You'd be surprised who makes that for me too.
So if that does happen on the whole naming restriction thing, just worst case scenario, do you have a bland name makeup replacement?
Do I have a what?
A bland name,
Like
meaning
for
like
Coco
house
Chemist,
blends.
or
Yeah, like something that doesn't scream cocoa or something like that.
chocolate chemist, dark chemist. I
That
don't
sounds
know.
like a great
I,
a great
I know,
cake.
right? So I think I don't think. I mean, I think people understand that, like, especially with the Coco Chemist, which is a real popular selling cigar for us. We we don't um, we don't brand anything for kids. We don't do anything for kids. Although I'll say this for the video. I can't tell you how many times dads have come in with their kids getting cigars, and the kids just want all my stickers. They don't want cigars, obviously. They want stickers. So let's come in and like, "Can I get a sticker, Mr. Bradley?" I'm like, "Absolutely." So I'm giving out Frankenstein stickers, Coco Kim stickers, and what have you, and so on and so forth, and to the parents, not to the kids. And the dads want them as much for their coffee mugs or the back of their trucks. And I think that's one of my favorite
Humidors.
things, is driving down the street and seeing our logo and then a bunch of different logos on there from our house brands in the back of the trucks. I think that's really fun. But it just is. It is what it is, and I think we're in a weird day where, like, we're going back to the 40s and 50s and stuff like that. Cigar smoking was just a normal part of society. It really was. You smoked in your house, smoked in your business, and I can do that because I'm a cigar reseller. But I could never smoke in my office if I was, at a Fortune 500 or something like that. I just couldn't. I couldn't wear a hat, and I couldn't wear a T-shirt either. So I know there's restrictions on everything, but in the same regard, we're just in a different day. Right now we got to be super sensitive. But I do think I have challenged the whole claims of the truth campaign multiple times. I think they're frauds. I will say that with the nth degree. You're a bunch of frauds, and they're lumping premium cigars, which are a minimal risk to one's health. If
Minimal.
eating a cheeseburger is more of a risk. Okay, from Five Guys, which is a great cheeseburger, by the way.
Yeah, but it's
That
definitely more of a risk.
it's more of a risk than smoking a cigar on your health, to be quite honest and fair. But you're never going to hear the FDA say that. You're never going to hear them, with their own conclusions to health studies that they've done on cigars. They'll never release the positive ones. I have to actually tell you about that and go looking online forever to find it, and they don't publish it on their own website because they're a bunch of frauds. And so anything with the word federal in it should just mean fraud. I don't know.
Well, like I've said this numerous times, government is nothing more than legalized mafia. But if anybody's looking for an actual medical doctor's take, look into Gabby Caffey. He's actually promoted studies. He's given research. He's funded this out of his own money. He was on the show not too long ago, and he'll be the first to tell you.
Yep.
They did 3 guys, one that didn't smoke, one that smoked cigarettes, and one that smoked cigars. Same time frame. Right after the guy smoked a cigar, his blood pressure was actually lower than the guy that didn't smoke.
Amazing.
So definitely check out for some great non-biased but accurate studies
Right.
of that industry. But I am curious. So when you launch new house brands, because again, Zeal Cigars, if you're looking for a house brand to actually hang your hat on, Zeal
Uh-huh.
Cigars is definitely the place to go.
Hmm.
And when you do a new launch, a new line, because I know you've brought out a few in this last year alone,
Hmm.
do you do like a quote unquote manufacturer event where you have people come by with box deals and stuff like
No.
that?
We've tried that before, and we couldn't fit everybody in here. So we just,
That's
I
a
mean,
good thing.
it's a so like our shop is very deceptive. So in the very front of our shop, we have about 1,000 square feet. Maybe 1,500 square feet of two cigar humidors, check out, and then a lounge. And then behind it, we have another 1,500 square feet, which is all warehouse. That's what I'm sitting in right now. So we just can't get that. I mean, if you got 50 people into our store, I mean, it would be super crowded, and you couldn't barely get in the humidors. A good number of people would be like 10, 15, if you would getting in. So you have a launch for a new cigar. We have a new cigar coming out called the Caribbean Marauder, which is the most Cuban-esque, un-Cuban cigar I've ever had in my entire life. I've had quite a few, by the way, but I'd swear it's Cuban. So the Caribbean Marauder will be coming out probably in the next couple weeks. So how this happens, a manufacturer, and I work with I go to so many different manufacturers, dude. And yeah, it's just I do. This manufacturer, I go to him. He's one of my favorite ones, and he says, "I have something for you. Let me send it to you, and you tell me what you think." So he sends it to me, and I smoke it, and I get, "Dude, you sent me some Cubans. Don't do that. I need what you're going to give me. These are the actual cigars I want you to try." I'm like, "That's not true. This is a Cuban." He goes, "No, just smoke them until you think." I go all the way through. It's Cuban, and I'm like, "It's a Cuban cigar, dude." He says, "It's not. It's not. That's a cigar I want you to consider." I'm like, "God Almighty, this is incredible." And he tells me the price point. I'm overwhelmed. So the Cuban, I keep calling it the Cuban Marauder, the Caribbean Marauder. That's Justin's name for it. Justin created that name. The logo is awesome. I don't have it up. I don't have it up yet, but it's kind of a pirate-esque logo with a eye patch with a Cuban flag in it. Um, but the Cuban Imposter that we have out right now is very, very good too. That's very Cuban-esque. That's a Cuban seed raised in Nicaragua that tastes like a Behanky with spice. So that's a very good cigar. But yeah, so that's I mean, usually it's manufacturers reach out to me, which I can't get back to all the manufacturers, dude. I just don't. That's why I'm not at the show either, because then I'd start talking to all the manufacturers. Hey, I want to make a private label for everyone wants to do a private label. I want to do a private label. I want to do a private
Sure,
label. I want to do a
sure.
private label. I'm like, I don't have time for it. Tell me your price points. Well, I have this. I get better price points somewhere else. Well, in that case, let me make what is it? Make a half filled cigar for you or a short filler. I'm like, I don't need short fillers. I got all long filler premium cigars.
Yeah,
These
you don't
guys,
want that.
yeah,
You don't want that.
yeah, dude. So it's really really encouraging. And I'm not a Vegas guy, dude. I'm not a Vegas guy. I'm an industry guy. I love the industry. I think they're all a bunch of great guys, but Vegas is not for me. I've had nothing but bad experiences in Vegas. I'm not going back to Vegas. Vegas and Bradley Reith don't get along very well. So,
I went to Vegas for CES, which is
uh-huh.
a Consumer Electronics Show for those of
Yeah,
you that don't know. And I
yeah,
went the year COVID hit. I was there in January, so before it really hit here.
okay,
And I watched what I felt like people about ready to get served with divorce papers playing at tables where they're just like, oh no, oh my gosh, and like
yeah,
you just lost everything, man, and I could see
right,
it in your face. So I totally agree with you. It's definitely not my scene. It's a
yeah,
place that I'd like to go infrequently every once in a while, but it's definitely not my scene. But let me ask you, so if a retailer watches this show and they're like, how do
uh,
I launch a brand of my own? Or have you ever had a retailer reach out to you and say, how do I launch a brand of my own? What's some of that advice that you give them?
well, some of it is just, I mean, some of it's trade secrets I don't want to share, and then some of it is, I
No,
mean,
for
just by,
sure.
well, I know, but the other part is, I mean, you really have to get to know manufacturers. You really have to get to know people who know and make the cigars for those manufacturers, because manufacturers sometimes get their cigars from multiple different factories. So knowing the guys at those factories, and then like having those relationships, and then just being. I think the big thing is a lot of guys believe that nice guys finish last in this industry. I'd say I've seen that before, but I think that being straight, being stern, and being very honest about what you want is very important without playing this. I call it the brother game, where everyone says, "Hey, brother," I'm like, I don't care. I'm not your brother. I'm a business venture for you, and you're one for me. So let's make sure, because my main concern overall with my company is not the manufacturer; it's the end product to the customer. So I want to make
Correct.
sure if that has my name on it, it's good and it's great for the customer. And if something's wrong, I make it right. I try to make it right as best I can. So there's a big difference between that and then guys who kiss the butts of manufacturers. I'm not loyal to any manufacturer. I'm just not, and I don't think any manufacturer has the best cigars or anything else like that. There's manufacturers make some really good strong cigars, some really good medium cigars, and some phenomenal light ones. And I like those guys, and I talk to them and do some business with them. But there's not. Do I have an allergy? No, I got something in my eye, dude. Someone asked me if I have an allergy, and I'll get rub my eyes. I got something in my eye. I don't know what's wrong with my eye, and I can't see very well because I don't have my glasses. I lost them. I have to go get new ones. So that's what's going on. But yeah, as far as this manufacturer is concerned, or the stores are concerned, I would say first have a good marketing guy. Somebody knows how to do the marketing and brand something
Yes.
for the
Yes.
culture currently, and then know who you are, like know what you want to portray, and those kind of things. So there's every single one of my brands has a story to it, and a reason I branded it the way that I did, so that you can explain to your customer base, hey, here's why I called the brass monkey the brass monkey. Here's why I called the party animal the party animal. Here's why I called spice cream spice cream. Here's why I called primordial primordial. This is why there's always a story behind something like that. Here's why I called the King's Comeback this and the King's Envy this, and it's another brand. So, Royal Flush, yeah, that's a good one. The Royal Flush. That's why I call it the Royal Flush, and ah, my mic overheat.
But that adds, one of my mentors in this business is Abe DeBab, smoking right behind me, and
Yeah,
Abe will
Abe's a good
tell
dude.
you,
Yeah,
I love Abe,
yeah,
absolutely love the man.
Abe's a good dude.
Abe will be the first to tell you, I just sell a cigar.
Mm-hmm.
So like you could go down the street and get the same cigar,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just a different location. He goes, I'm actually selling the experience, the story, the lifestyle. So
Right.
how much of that approach, when you build these brands, these house brands, you obviously are going for that, right? That
I don't. I
experience.
think. I think the difference between Abe and I would be, and where I would take maybe a different path than Abe, and I respect that. Don't get me wrong. Um, I don't believe the average cigar smoker is into the cigar lifestyle. I think they smoke once in a while, and they're just trying to they're trying to get into it, or they're brand new, or they were out of it and they're now trying to get back into it. So to sell him a lifestyle where he has to get a humidor and get it everything and get the lighters and everything else like that, that's cool, and I'm sure I do that with some people. But the majority of the time, I'm talking to people who are just starting to smoke cigars. They're like, I'm just getting into it. I saw your video, and I want to smoke this cigar. And maybe they saw a cigar that was like really strong and really rich and really dense, and I need to start on something lighter before I go there. So I really try to make it about the customer experience. And so what I try to do is try to find what will best fit this customer's palate and sell him the palate experience versus the lifestyle experience. So I don't know that and this is like, I mean, just being brutally honest. I mean, I'll be transparent with you. Um, I don't know that I'm a cigar lifestyle guy. I don't eat, drink, and breathe cigars on my off time. I smoke them eventually, and I smoke them sometimes to enjoy them. But I'm not like, I don't watch cigar videos on YouTube. I watch car videos. I watch stupid funny America's Got Talent stuff with my kids. I do I watch like how to be a good father, and I cry over videos and stuff like that. Like that's I'm a big baby, dude. I just am.
So am
So,
I.
so that's what I watch. I don't really do a whole lot of cigar lifestyle because I don't believe the average guy is like this lifestyle guy. Now you're going to find guys who are, and they're like really big in the lifestyle. Like they got the whole like get up, they bring their own cutter and lighter with them, and they have everything with them. They have their own humidors, and they're exactly. But
I'm a geek.
Of guys that walk in my door, they heard about our house brands. They're like, I just want to try this because $6 cigar, and I hear it's incredible. I'm like, it really is. Why don't you try it? And then I'll start nursing them in the lifestyle. Like, hey, how's your cutter game? What's your lighter game like? Do you have your cigars? Are you thinking about getting like a big, new air, thing? I've seen guys go from like here to there. And I've seen guys do this a lot. They at certain times of the year, like, I'm ready to smoke a cigar, and I hadn't seen them since last Christmas. It's kind of how it goes. But I would say that I think Abe's probably really good at that, because probably Abe and those guys like at Smoke Inn and the bigger guys, they probably have better business acumen than I do. My whole goal is customer experience. My whole goal is customer palate experience in particular. So I'm focused on getting the best cigar for that customer's palate. And so when I sell a cigar, that's why I always talk about food, because nobody smokes cigars. Everybody eats. You know what I'm saying? So if I can relate food to a cigar, that's something that everybody can relate to, versus something like only a few people will say, well, this Rocky Patel, this. They're like, who's Rocky Patel, and what are you talking about a cigar for? But I'm like, this cigar tastes like cocoa, like a cocoa cupcake, chocolate, a dark brownie cupcake. They're like, I know what that tastes like because my mom makes cupcakes. It's the end user. it's the end user experience with the palate that is my game, not necessarily selling the cigar lifestyle game. If that makes sense.
No, absolutely. And John, I can tell you right now, he sells out of his house brands too fast to give them to another B&M.
Yeah.
So all you got to do is go to zealcigars.com and pick through his house blends. Trust me, he sent me a whole bunch, and holy cow, they are amazing.
Thanks, man.
And absolutely. And you know what, Brad? So when people go to Zeal, how much of them coming in and going, is Bradley here? Versus them coming into the humidor, are you seeing? Like, are you constantly like working the floor? Like, I need to be helped by Bradley. What is that like?
So I'm now in the back, and that was by design, because I couldn't get much work done, because I was helping every single person who came in, and everybody said, "Oh my gosh, I saw you on videos," and everything else like that. So I'm back here now, and I can do a lot more work and get some more work done that I need to get done. But yeah, that's a like example. I just had a friend of mine come in, who's a friend of a friend's, come in and get cigars, and he's a good guy. And as a result, this guy came in from Pennsylvania that been watching me forever. He comes in, he goes, I just want to meet you, I just want to talk to you and stuff like that. And I'm like, hey man, good to see you. And I sit down, and the guy's name's Ryan, and Ryan looks at me and goes, wow, dude. I'm like, yeah, it's typical. That's what happens a lot. So I would get it if I watch somebody on YouTube like me. And for example, I watch a guy named Scotty Kilmer, who's one of the best car guys I've ever seen on YouTube. Very honest, straightforward mechanic, been a mechanic for 50 years. And is very honest, doesn't get paid or sponsored by people, things like that. And he's just very brutally honest about working on cars. If I've met him and I saw Scotty Kilmer and he came in my store, I get starstruck too. I would be like, oh my gosh, Scotty, I just watched your last video. Do you really think Toyota's going to go down the tubes? Yeah, I would absolutely go crazy on that. So it's really interesting, to have somebody say that with you. It's an honor, though. It really is. And it's really an honor, and I consider it an honor. And so I take pictures of people and things like that. And it's always fun, to do that with people. But I did get moved to the very back of the warehouse so that I could get some work done. And because you can imagine trying to edit videos, put product up there and everything else like that, with people coming in and saying, hey, can you check me out? Hey, can I get a picture with you? Hey, can I talk to you? Hey, tell me about this. What do you think about this? What do you think? And I'm like, I don't know. But Justin gets that a lot, and he's up front now, so he can deal with the fanfare or what have you. So, but I'm always happy to come up front and meet people and stuff like that. And it's a blessing to just meet, because you're talking to people who watch your content and make your life go round. So for me, it's an honor, and it's exciting.
Absolutely,
it really is.
Absolutely. Yeah. Hey, how you doing, Nicholas? Nicholas is another manufacturer that's working with us for the fundraiser. Hey, Nicholas, drop your brand here in
Yeah.
the comment, and we'll share it out. Now, one of the things that I will say is, you and I met through your Esteban Carreras rep, Dave,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I gave him my phone number months before you called me. So when you called me, it really took me aback. But I will tell everybody, for anybody that does meet Brad, he is Brad. He is exactly how
Yeah.
he is on YouTube.
Thanks,
He's
man.
not a quiet guy. It's not a personality. You're literally getting Brad all the time, and that's great. That's refreshing. You know, one of the first times, about 6-7 months into my show, I was starting developing a following. I'm one of the few ones outside of Dojo that actually does stuff here in the Rocky Mountains.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the Colorado team does watch, and I went to an event at one of our local lounges. And I will tell you, if my neighbors actually were not at that event, nobody would believe me. But I had several people walk up to me like, "Hey, I watch your show. Can I get a picture?" And I'm just like, okay, like it's you almost in the beginning don't really know how. You're like, I'm just a normal person, like
Yeah.
I appreciate you watching, that truly means a lot. But what was it like that first time where you started to get big and people started to recognize you and actually say, "Hey, Brad," versus "You're the Zeal Cigar guy"?
So I think on the first times that happened, my wife and I were on vacation in Tombstone. So we are down in Tombstone, Arizona, going through the old like houses and stuff like that. And uh, I was in an old brothel in Tombstone, my wife, and where Doc Holliday would go and things like that. And this guy looks at me and goes, "Hey, you're the cigar guy, right?" And I went, "Yeah." And he goes, "Yeah, you're Brad, right? From TNT." I went, "Yeah, that's me." And he goes, and this other guy goes, "Oh my gosh, it's you, man! I knew it was you." And so, like, a little small crowd gets around, and my wife's just looking at me like, "You're just eating this thing up. Or you're just eating this up, aren't you?" And I'm like, "Well, it's kind of nice. It's kind of fun to, people see
It
you,
is
but
fun.
yeah, it is fun. But like, I think it's cool. But I'm not like so. Like, I have friends that are like real celebrities. Like, when I say celebrities, I mean like they're real celebrities, dude.
No, you're
They're like
connected at this
that.
point.
I'm not like I'm not I'm not I'm not I'm not.
By the
I'll
way,
never
his
name
best
drop.
friend is Tom Cruise.
No, it's
Everybody.
not. No. Well, what I'm trying to say though is that like I have good friends of mine that come in here that sit down and have cigars that I didn't know who they were when I met them, and because I didn't watch their sports, their movies, or anything else like that. So like I didn't know who they were, and that's one of the reasons we got, tight as friends. And so I think that's really kind of cool, because they're extremely down to earth, really cool guys, and that's one of the things to me that is very cool, to have somebody go, I hang out with you because you don't act starstruck, and I don't. I greatly respect the achievements they've made, and the money is ridiculous, but it's just something that it's just crazy, dude. My buddy just rolled up in a brand new truck that was like it's got to be $150,000, dude. And I was just like, this is crazy, dude. And I was like, dude, how'd you get that? He's like, well, dealership got into, and just had one sitting over for me and asked me if I get it, and so I did. And so it's really kind of cool to just share that aspect of their life with them, because they are, but that's not what we talk about. We don't talk about what they did or anything like that. We talk about,
Sure,
just the stuff that we go through, and
absolutely.
we met at church or we met somewhere else, something like that, and
Sure.
we just chat through stuff, and they're just like, and this is great, and it's always a great time. It's always great. But these are guys that I know and hang out with, on probably on a bi-monthly basis, if you would. So not that are in my life every single day, because I don't deserve to be in their life. These guys are these are nice guys, really cool guys, in my
Now, now, Brad, I want to touch on customer service and your approach to that, and actually tag who's loving this episode because you keep saying hello to him. I'm just telling you, when I met
tag.
him, he knew nothing about me and everything about you. and I tell you, he just loved you. So he actually posted comments here that you actually called him when you ran out of
Oh
the
yeah,
cigar you ordered.
yeah.
Uh,
Well,
brought
it's
you to a down to brought you down to earth in a good way. Sorry, I had my camera
oh
covering that up. But kind of explain based on this comment what your business approach is to customer service,
well,
how you approach something with somebody with an issue.
well. There's always going to be issues in something that's man-made. So you're always going to have issues with cigars here and there and stuff like that. Whether it's they come apart or they get damaged in shipping or something like that. Everybody has that. Every online cigar retailer is going to have that issue, no matter how much we try to take care of the packaging, which we do a really good job of packaging our cigars for shipment. So when that does happen, or we get something wrong, or we put the wrong cigar in an order or something like that, we try to personally call and say, hey, or if we get a phone call, we're like, hey, this is so on and so forth, and so sorry, or if we ran out of a cigar and we can't get that exact cigar, we try to get the next best size up so you get a better value, or we try to supplement it with another cigar that we have that's a greater value so that you feel like there's more value added. What Zeal Cigars exist to do is add value to our customers' lives through the customer experience with us. That's our whole goal. So like we want people to feel like it's family for us. It is, we are a family company, and we're not Cigars International. We're not huge, dude. We're not super big. So as a result of that, we want to make sure that the experience with us is one of a family experience. So you're talking to me, and a lot of guys call in and they'll say, it's my favorite phone call. Is this Bradley from the videos? I'm like, you mean Bradley, the guy in the video? And they're like, yeah, that's who I said. I'm like, nah, he's ugly and stupid. We keep him locked up in the back. They're like, oh, Bradley. I'm like, yeah, what's up, dude? What's going on? They're like, I can't believe I'm talking to you. I'm like, dude, I answer the phone too, because sometimes the phone rings, and it's a little different than just working on my computer or going through cigars every day and get a chance to talk to people. So I do answer
But
the
they
phone.
do keep them locked up in the back, though.
They do keep me. I'm literally in the back now, locked up, which was my sister's idea, which I found this very, very good, and it's very great to be back here and doing what I need to get done. My backdrop is not the sexiest thing you're going to see in the entire world, and although I do have my air conditioning unit, which is right over my shoulder, which is kind of nice, but it's great. We really try to keep our customers happy as possible, but once in a while you'll have people, just like any other place, because we have thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of customers. You're going to have people that are disgruntled or frustrated. And I do my best to try to solve the issue. And I think there's only 2 customers in my 4 years I've been here that I could not please no matter what I did. And I remember telling at the very end of the conversation, and I thought I went over and above, to be quite honest. I said, it sounds like no matter what I do, I'm not going to be able to make you happy with this order. Can I just go ahead and refund your money? And the guy cussed at me and hung up. That was it. I'm like, I could at least give him your money back or something like that, So, and we're not, per our terms and conditions, we don't have to do that. You don't have to do that with
Well, sure,
premium cigars, but I was just trying to make it right for him.
of
But,
course.
cigars are just they're a man-made thing. So most of them are consistent. Once in a while, you get one that tastes different or tastes off or something like that, and that could be because of you. You got COVID. I had a guy. I got to. This is my favorite customer experience. This is my favorite, dude. Oh, there's this guy down in Florida, right? I can't remember his name, but he called me and he's like, "Hey, Brad." I'm like, "What's going on?" It's so and so from Florida. I'm like, "What's going on, man? How you doing?" And he's like, "I'm not doing well. Your cigars, the cocoa chemist. The cocoa chemist doesn't taste like cocoa anymore." I'm like, "What?" And he's like, I was like, "Hold on a second." So I tell JB, "Give me a cocoa chemist." JB gives me one. He smoked one. I'm smoking one. I'm like, "It's not cocoa to me." And he's like, "I don't know." So I said, "Let me send you another batch." So I sent another batch. He calls me again. "What is going on, Brad?" I'm like, "Oh my, are you serious? Go give me another one." So I go get another one like this. I'm like, "Dude, I don't know what to tell you. These taste like cocoa chemists. They taste like cocoa and like you're eating a chocolate cupcake. They taste great. I don't know what to tell you."
Hmm.
And he's like, "I don't know, Brad. I've never had this problem. I've had hundreds of cocoa chemists. I don't know what's going on. I'll call you later on." So he goes to a doctor's appointment, finds out he has COVID, lost all his taste buds, calls me calls me back and says, "I have to apologize. I'm very, very sorry." And I'm like, "No problem, dude." He's like, "Can I just pay you for the others?" I'm like, "Don't worry about it, man. We'll get you on the next order." So he's like, "I'm so sorry." So it's stuff like that happens, and we're more than happy that. I think I think I'm more in awe. My sister does a really good job of the customer service stuff and making everybody happy and doing it in a way that adds value to the customers' lives way better than I do. She does just story after story after story, and I get email after email after email of customers calling us back and being like, "Man, your customer service is really good." We really try to be that because we never want to be so big that we can't have that personal touch with our customer service. That if you email us, if you social media us, if you contact us at info@zealcigars.com, we'll get back to you. We'll get back to you and try to make everything right, make it what we can. So, and it doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes it does.
Now, what does that mean to you versus like you had mentioned Cigars International, which I personally never order from for various reasons.
You're going
I
to ask me to
think
take on the 800-pound gorilla in the room?
you probably but like why is that experience of customer service so important to you over being like, I don't have to do this?
Yeah. Well, first, I think I was a pastor for many years. I'm a committed Christian.
Mm-hmm.
So doing the right thing is very important for me because it's connected to my faith. And to be a testimony to people out there of what I think Jesus would actually do if he ran a cigar business. I don't want to give them a bad taste for that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to all of a sudden do that. So I can't speak for CI or anything like that. And they're owned by Scandinavian Tobacco, so they're a big, huge corporation.
Huge.
So yeah, they're the biggest player in the industry.
For sure.
And I'm not. And don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that CI is bad. Like I'm not. I know guys. I have friends that work there. I don't get me wrong. I'm not saying anything like that. But for us, I think the benefit for the average customer is that know that you're supporting a veteran-owned and operated, company, a woman-owned and operated company with my mom, a silver beard owned and operated company. I don't know what I add to it, right? So a big nose, squinty eye guy company, So I think that you're actually supporting a family. And the last 4 years, every single cigar, I tell this to my kids all the time. These cigars feed you. These cigars feed you. You may not smoke them, but they feed you. And that's due to all of our customers here that follow us, that watch us on YouTube and everything else like that. It's all due to them. So I have the utmost respect and absolute just joy talking to our customers. So to me, it gets me giddy when I think about it.
So outside of your house blends, well, let me ask the question a different way. What are some questions when people come in and they're comparing? Oh, I really like this cigar, but I can't afford it. I want to go with something different, and you show them a house blend. Are you just asking cigars they like? Are you asking what they drink, what they eat? What is your approach to placing a cigar?
Well, first, I have probably 3 or 4 questions. I think it's good for any retailer to know this. That's a great question to ask, by the way, Ryan. The first thing I ask them is, what's the last cigar that you smoked that you remember? That's the last one. What's the last cigar you smoked that you liked? How do you take your coffee, beer, or whiskey? Do you like dark, stout, rich, dense, or do you like light, creamy, airy, things like that? And usually they'll be able to answer me in there, and I'm able to point them to a cigar that way, whether it's premium or not. So there's guys that come in and just go to our front humidor that has all the premium ones in it. They're like, that's the one I want to go to. I don't care for your, Zeal house brands. I will say this, man. I had a customer come in the other day. I hope he watches. This is so great. He comes in and I heard him talking. I overheard this, by the way. I was walking by and he goes, Justin says, yeah, let me show you. He says, you have anything new? And he goes, let me show you a new house brands we just got. And he goes, I don't want your house brands. I already had them. I think they're crap. And I was like, what? Whoa, I'm on it now. And I went over to him and not really offended, but kind of predetermined. I was like, hey man, I'm Bradley. Just want to say hi. And he's like, hey man. I'm like, hey, you said you had one of our house brands. What house brand did you have? He goes, I can't remember. It looked like this one. And he pointed out, and I'm like, and he says, it tastes like crap. I'm like, what do you mean it tastes like crap? I need to know what you mean. What you mean by that? And he goes, I just didn't like the flavor of it. And I said, okay, so you didn't like the flavor of it, or it tasted like crap? Like that's a big determination.
That's a big difference.
There's a lot of, but you gotta understand something. Like for the average cigar guy, he's gonna like it or not like it. For us, we'll be like, that's a Maduro that I like, or that's a Maduro that I don't like. or that's a
Correct.
Habano I like, or Habano I like a medium, or I like a strong Connecticut. I like a stronger Connecticut. We're going to know that lingo. They won't know that lingo necessarily.
Sure.
So I wasn't taking offense. I was just like, I saw a good challenge. And so I said, I just got the primordial box press Maduro in because he was looking at the EPC pledge, right? And
Mhm.
blindfolded, Justin thought our Maduro primordial box pressed was the EPC pledge. And I was like, try this. And he smoked. I said, if you don't like it, you don't have to buy it. He smoked. He was like, that's really, really good. I'm like, yeah, that's $6 and that one's 13. And he's like, oh, I'm gonna go with this one. I'm like, well, that's cool. And I love the pledge. Now I'll tell you what mine doesn't have. The pledge does. The pledge is a really distinct red pepper on it. Mine doesn't have any kind
Yeah.
of pepper.
Oh no.
Yeah, mine
No,
has any
for
kind of
sure.
pepper.
For sure.
So, but I love EPC. I love stuff. He's the godfather of early on cigars. So all the respect in the world to EPC. But I
Now,
mean, yeah.
I was just saying to get to some real quick, some stuff. Tag is also a very big Christian himself,
Oh yeah.
and he gave a shout out.
Thanks, bro.
And also, John asked a question that I'm sure many would be too afraid to ask such a large man like yourself, but he is
Uh,
asking. So,
so my beard grows in waves, I believe, and it always curls at the end. So very early on, when I got in the social media game, I kind of said, what's going to be my tagline? And somebody said, what about Crooked Beard? I typed in Crooked Beard, and it didn't work. And so I typed in Crooked Beard AZ. And so if you go on Instagram, my Instagram tag is Instagram or Crooked Beard AZ on Instagram. So that's my beard just goes crooked. And sometimes I'll lop it off right here so it's a little more straight, but it grows this weird little, wave curl at the end that
I think it
I,
looks great. I
I
think
like
it
it.
gives
I
you.
like it.
I think honestly, it gives you like a photo in the
Yeah.
sense of like everybody knows that beard. That's a
Right.
cigar guy that watches YouTube. You know,
Right. Right.
like
Right.
instantly you can lop off from here up, and
Yeah.
I would be able to be like, "That's Brad."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's great. And then we have Tag thrown in with another comment,
Why do
and
you
I will let
call
you read
non-house
this.
blend premium? Many of your bundles are better than the banded cigars I've had. Yes, and I'm not. That's more trying to honor the families that have put forth the effort. With for the many years they've done that. Our cigars are premium hand rolled, and they're every good as bit as what you're going to get in the premium brands. You're absolutely right. I just reserve that for them as an honorable tag, not necessarily. I think theirs are better than mine. There are some premium ones that I'll definitely tell you are better than mine. And there's some of mine that I'll tell you are way better than some of the premium ones out there. So, but that's just kind of how. So it's not a matter of like trying to slam my cigars or anything else like that. I would never do that. Obviously, it's counterproductive for us. But that's that's what I'm thinking. That's why I say what I say. But yeah, I appreciate the honor in that statement though. That a lot of our cigars are better than the Bandit ones you smoke, which is good. I'm very excited about that. So
Now I am curious to know, and I would ask this to you over another manufacturer, but what are some of your favorite quote unquote nationwide non-house blend brands that you do smoke on the regular?
I like Abe Flores's
Mm,
series Bravada, their Rosado and Maduro. I think it's really good. I like the Rosado more. Um, Big fan of Camacho. I like Camacho's Unleashed.
of course.
I thought that's really good. The Triple Maduro. I love the Triple Maduro. Um,
Now, do you think the triple? I'll ask you this since you brought it up. I wasn't smoking cigars to the extent that I am now when the original Triple Maduro was released, but I'm sure you were.
oh yeah,
I
I
was
have
smoking
several boxes.
cigarettes
Yeah.
and it sucked. But anyways, um, do you feel the Triple Maduro is different than the Triple Maduro offered today?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
So
Yeah.
what's your take on that? Why do you feel that that's a little different?
Well, that's Christian Arroyo's original. Christian Arroyo who
Hmm.
owned Camacho originally. That was his thing, and when Camacho took it over, I don't know how much of that tobacco that they had to use, or if he took his blends with him. But over time it definitely changed. Because I've had some of the original like 10, 15-year-old, Camacho Triple Maduros, and they're incredible. I bought a box. First cigar I think about, first Maduro I ever bought a box of. Yeah, I just absolutely
Really?
loved it. Oh yeah, loved it. So is the Triple Maduro by Camacho currently as good as those that I had back then? No. Are they pretty darn close? Yes, they are. Yeah, they're pretty darn close. Are they a better value? Probably. But Christian Arroyo also has his Maduro out as well. That's supposed to be a throwback to the old Camacho. That his Maduro from the Arroyo line, that's supposed to be the old Camacho one. So, which I haven't had yet. I think we actually have them. I just haven't had it yet.
Now, when you hear of and I will name names, Matt Booth selling to
Boofy.
General. I love Booth.
Boofy.
Booth actually gave me. You could see it in the top corner here. My other camera's broke, but he sent me a Namakubi sign. I love Booth.
Booth's a good dude, man.
What do you, when you hear a cigar company being bought up by a big company like General, as a brand, a brand owner like yourself, as well as a retailer, what are some of your thoughts when that does happen?
I mean, I love Matt, so I don't think. I mean, I've never met Matt personally. I think I met him personally one time, but don't know him very well. I know of him very well in the sense of who he is in the industry. He's a great guy, great blender, great guy in that regard. I don't know. I think it's really personal, and I don't know that it's anyone else's business in the sense of like, I know guys get real. Here's the thing about our culture, man. We're just so judgy as a culture. I mean, like some dude sells out and gets a big, or you think it's a sellout. What if he made a great deal? What if he made a great deal for his family? Is it wrong for me to be excited about Matt getting some money for his family and for whatever he wants to do next? That's awesome, dude. And what happens if I sell Zeal someday? Oh, Bradley sold out. Call me I don't care.
You got paid. In the
I don't care.
Booth, sellout means getting paid.
Exactly, dude. That's exactly what it means. Everyone is yelling "so out, so out." They're mad because they don't have money. Okay, and they couldn't sell whatever they were trying to sell, and nobody bought them out, so they're all mad about it. No, I think whatever Booth decided to do is Booth's prerogative, man. That's cool. So, and General's the 800-pound gorilla that can buy anything. General, I mean, I think the old adage was, I can't remember. I heard this story. I don't know how true it is. So I'll just say it for the thing. And Pete Johnson, if you're out there and you're listening to this, I think Pete refused to sell to somebody at one point, and they wrote him a check with a bunch of zeros behind it. And then he goes, okay, here we go. I mean, money's going to buy you something like that. As long as it's not immoral, which it isn't immoral. You're just making a sale and you're selling a product that you really like and you're getting more value for it and everything else like that. And for a company that can really distribute it really well and put your name on it and stuff. I don't think there's anything wrong with that whatsoever. Plus, that's like me buying a car. So it's like me buying a car, fixing it up, and then and then driving the car for a year and talking about how much I like the car, and then selling it for $10,000 more than I bought it. And then everyone will be like, "You're such a sellout because you love that car." I'm like, it's a car. I got $10,000 more I can go towards my kids or my Sunday fun, right?
Correct.
Sunday fun day. Yeah. So I mean, let's be honest about it. So. Yeah, I know those guys who are, I'm getting in trouble with this one, but there's all these purists and all these like freaking stupid geeks out there that are always jamming up somebody because they made a cigar deal that puts somebody at a different level and maybe he's not as reachable now as he was then. Good for you, Matt Booth. You ready for this, bro? Good for you, bro. Thumbs up. Do what you want, man. I'm proud of you. I love your stuff. I've smoked your stuff. I like it. I think you're great, buddy. Go do your thing, man. Absolutely. And anybody who says differently, dude, shut up and mind your own business, dude. Do your own thing. Do your own grind. Grind hard. So it's hard when you're grinding to pay attention to somebody else's grind. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You're grinding, you're doing your own work. So I don't look at anything. I have to tell people sometimes, like, did you hear what this person said about you or this person said about you? I don't care. I don't watch all the social media. I never watch social media until somebody tells me, this person is about you and said you said this. I'm like, okay, I did not say that. Now I have to get on somebody. And I got to say, I did not say that. That's not what I said. This is what I said. I really don't like this person. And this is why. That's exactly what I said versus like, You know, I hate Ryan's beard. No, I hate his hat, not his beard, his hat.
Oh,
I just like I did something stupid like that, right?
I'm just
Like,
no.
who just
So
said he hated Ryan? Yeah, I don't hate Ryan. You know, yeah. I
so
I said one thing, and this is so weird how like I heard Gary Vaynerchuk say this the other day. I like Gary a lot. He's a little hyper for me, but you know I like him. And he said this. He said, "How sad is it when you?" He said, "I feel pity and like really sad for people who are haters online. How bad must your life be that you have to go onto social media and troll people to find some kind of like meaning in life?" You know what I'm saying? I used to get really frustrated with trolls and everything. Now I think about that. I'm like, I'm really sad for those people, man. To think that they have to troll social media to make themselves feel better about something. I mean, go out there and do something
absolutely,
yourself. Just go do it. You know, figure out something else to do.
absolutely,
You know, so
absolutely.
I feel bad for those people, man. I really do. So when I hear stuff
No,
like that, but yeah, for Matt, thumbs up, Matt. Go do your thing,
oh
bro.
yeah, no, absolutely. I sent him a text that day, like, congratulations, that's amazing, good for
100%.
you.
100%.
Now I do want to ask you because I think we both know how the Leaf by Oscar started, right? It was a local brand over at Jim's
Huh?
Lounge, and it kind of stretched out to a regional, and then they kind of took it and grew it to a national. Is that something that, if given enough ask, is that something that you would ever consider doing with a house blend?
Well, I've already been asked, and I've said no. But I'll say this for the record. Um, everyone does have a price. Everyone does have a price. Mine's pretty steep,
Sell
dude.
out.
I know, right? Mine's pretty steep. Because I think there's a lot of character in this, and I think we do something here at Zeal Cigars that's very special that not a lot of places do. We care about customers and not just the profits. So we think we take care of our customers, our profits take care of themselves. So I, yeah, so it's a high price, but yeah, if that happens someday, am I not going to be in the cigar industry someday? I don't know. Maybe not. It's I've been offered other things, and I've said no. You know, so but uh, yeah. So will I one day be doing the soap thing full time and Zeal Cigars part time? I hope so. I do because soap's not regulated. I'll have to, I'll have to answer to all the freaking taxes on the soap and everything else like that. Jeez, Pete.
Now,
Um,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead. You're good.
I was going to say, in closing the show, I wanted to kind of finish where we started our lightning round last time. There was a few questions I didn't get an opportunity to ask you.
Okay.
One of those questions, because I know you are a very deeply convicted Christian, and
Mhm.
you live the lifestyle. You don't just promote the lifestyle.
Correct.
So if the good Lord walked in your store, what would be a house blend that you would give him, and how would you place him in that cigar?
I'd probably give him the King's comeback because he's coming back. So I'd probably give him the King's comeback. I named that for Jesus' return, and that was a suggestion actually from a customer. Actually, so a customer we had an old cigar that tasted similar to this one. It was one of the best cigars I ever had at TNT, and I think it was called the King's. What's it called? King something, and it was great artwork. It was wonderful. And then this one tasted very similar to that one, and this was called so I called it the King's Comeback, and that's what a customer suggested. And so I think I sent him some cigars, and I took the name and said I'll use that. So yeah, if Jesus came in and wanted a cigar, I'd give him the King's Comeback, unless he's like, it's it's in the morning, let's have some coffee, not bourbon. I'm like, okay, let's have some. Could you turn this bourbon into wine? I'd start asking tons of questions. Or can you turn this $10 bourbon into a $50 bourbon or something like that? Can I get some Pappy
Turn
with
this
Jesus?
bourbon into turn this Jack into Pappy.
Right.
for me,
Take the
will
Jack
ya?
and turn it into Pappy. Sure, Jesus could do that. Yeah. So that's I've had that's been a question I've answered on multiple interviews too, where people have asked like, "What cigar would you want to smoke with Jesus?" And I'm like, probably the King's Comeback. It's just, it's a lighter Maduro cigar. So I test his palate. If he started coughing, I'd be like, oh,
You're
I'm
inhaling,
sorry.
God.
I apologize, Jesus. I made Jesus cough over one of my cigars.
Now
Yeah,
you would expect Jesus to be able to really smoke anything because he created everything.
absolutely, man. And
You know.
I want to know. I have so many more questions like that, and so I'd be like, tell me about why this certain cigar tastes the same, and every manufacturer sells it, because I think it actually is the same cigar. And Jesus would be able to tell me yes or no, because there are certain cigars that every manufacturer sells that all taste the same. I'm serious. There's one cigar, 5 different manufacturers sell it. I swear it's the same cigar. And every time I go to the manufacturer, they just don't. They beat around the bush. They're like, oh, hey, it's good talking to you, Bradley. I'm like, oh, no. But
Now, for
I'll leave
those people that have not watched your show on
that.
how and understanding how you do your tasting,
Uh huh.
when you say you taste cocoa, when you say you
Mm-hmm.
taste leather,
Mm-hmm.
earthy, woody, really quick, kind of explain to people what you mean by that, because
Well,
this is
first,
something I get asked all the time.
yeah. Well, first, what you do is you get a chocolate bar and get some leather and some wood and chew on it before you have the cigar. Then you can call the notes authentically. Uh, no, I've always had a good palate, and I mean, I was I was a I had another, believe it or not, I had another channel I did with another buddy. We called it Bike Guys. We were food reviewers, at one point, and so and my buddy was a food snob, and we try different foods, and he said, "Tell me what you're getting out of there." I said, "I taste this, I taste this, I taste this, I taste this," and I would not know what's in the food, whether it be a burger, whether it be a carne asada burrito, whether it be this, so on and so forth. I said, "I taste the crunch of this, I taste that," and he goes, "You have a very good palate." I said, "Well, it makes sense because I can taste these other things in cigars," and he goes, "Really?" And so I had him smoke a cigar with me one time, and he could really taste some of the things I taste, but he's not a big cigar fan. So what I try to do when I taste something, first I try to come to the clean palate, so I don't smoke anything before the cigar I review, and
Same.
a lot of that is all through the nasal cavity, because you only have 5 taste buds in here. You have 21 in your nasal cavity, so the
Hmm.
retrohale is very important for me. And then the finish after the smoke's out, doing that and tasting the air through your nasal cavity is a big sense of, and then calling that out like cocoa, vanilla, leather. They all have certain distinct like taste. Leather's one of the hardest ones for me, but I could taste it distinctly when I taste it. Justin has a 10 times better palate than I do. I really think my palate was wrecked from COVID, and so as a result, when I taste stuff, there's certain things I could taste a lot more of, and there's stuff I could taste a lot less of. So maybe it was wrecked in a good way, because I went from really really strong cigars. Now I'm really into Connecticut and Habanos. I'm smoking tons of Connecticut and Habanos, very few Maduros now, like
Now,
strong, rich Maduros. Yeah.
that's kind of a path that I hear is normal, where
Okay.
people start out a little on the milder and then go really strong for a lot of years and then go back down. That's
Okay.
kind of a progression that I've talked with, even going to the lounges and talking to guys that have smoked 30, 40 years. They're like, yeah, I don't really get into the heavy pepper anymore, or I
Hmm.
don't get into the sinus busters. I get a little bit more into the mild and mediums.
Hmm.
And so, when was that kind of switch for you? When was that like,
A
I'm
couple
gonna
years ago.
go a couple
A,
years ago?
a couple years ago. Yeah, probably a couple years ago. In the sense of now, it's I'd rather smoke a Connecticut or a Habano or a lighter Maduro versus a strong, really strong one. Thanks, John. Appreciate it, buddy.
I think you
Um,
got a new fan.
yeah, I know John. John's a good dude. Um, so yeah, it's a weird thing when that happens to your palate. So the good thing is there's cigars all over the palate. I mean, all over your palate line. So
Hmm.
from light, airy, all the way to dark, rich, and peppery. So it doesn't mean I can't enjoy that. It just means I don't prefer it. So before I would
Sure,
prefer that for that, I just I enjoy it so much less infrequent now. Maybe like once a week versus like once a day. Once a week
sure.
I'd have that. At the end of my Usually at the end of my week, I smoke with a bunch of buddies in my lounge Friday when we close, and I'll usually smoke a stronger one then with some bourbon. Start to have something. I usually eat dinner before then, and then probably have some on my stomach. I love it. I really do.
And I don't, I per, at this point in time in my cigar growth,
Mm.
I'm a really big, heavy. If
Mm.
my nose is bloody by the end of the cigar, it is
Yeah.
a fantastic cigar. Is
So
there any sort of? Oh, go ahead.
can I ask you a question? Have you ever had the
Yeah,
Cuavana Punisher?
I have not.
You should get that. Find the Cuavana Punisher somewhere. I don't know where it's at anymore. But Cuavana made a cigar called the Punisher, which I could not smoke the whole thing. It was just
Really,
so punishing, hot pepper on your palate, overwhelming. The Cuavana Punisher. Go look it up. It's incredible.
Cuavana Punisher. I will
Cuavana.
absolutely look that up.
Yeah,
I'm
Cuavana
very
Punisher.
curious because I love that heavy,
It'll
heavy
knock your
pepper.
socks off, dude. Let me know if you
Now,
can smoke it.
I do want to ask you, since you do create so many great house blends, is there a tobacco that you haven't worked with now, but you would love to work with anywhere in the world, whether it be Middle Eastern, African, Irish, anywhere outside of the Southern Hemisphere? What would that be?
I really like Cameroon tobacco.
I
We've
was,
got a couple. We've got a
I
couple
was
Cameroons. I like Peruvian tobacco a lot too. Uh, to have a Cameroon, I think I'd like to see what a Cameroon with a light Viso Seco with a dark Ligero and a Peruvian binder with a Cameroon wrapper would taste like. Because that just
Ooh,
seems like it's just all over the place. So it may not
that
work at all.
is. You got the
But
heavy pepper, the body,
and the
the
sweetness of the
mildness.
Cameroon, yeah.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
wonder what that would look like. But I'm not a blender. Keep that in mind. I'm more of a taster. So if I ever go to these, these cigar tours or anything else like that, I'm not over. I don't want to blend my own cigar. I don't care about that at all. I care about the end product. I'm like, I want it to taste like this. Send me a cigar that tastes like this, and that's when they send me 10 to 15 different samples. Smoke them all through, and then I'm like, I like these five. Go back and try this with this, and then I get down to two. Now I like one of those two, and I'm like, I'll take that one. So
Now,
that's usually what I do.
is there a Lancero in your house blend future?
Oh yeah, we've got two. We got five
Oh
Lanceros right now.
shit.
The journey,
Okay.
the
So I need to
journeyman,
get on and order those.
the sanitarium Lanceros are incredible. So we got two sanitarium Lanceros. We have it in Connecticut, and we have it in the Maduro, and that's a very good one. And then we have something called the Journeyman, which are all Lanceros, and they're a Habano, Connecticut, and an Oscuro. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we have that on.
I will be getting on and ordering those Lanceros because
Yeah, they're good.
I'm the guy that actually says they want to have you carry a Lancero and will
Okay.
buy.
Yeah.
John asks, and this is a question that I would love to ask you as a reviewer.
Yeah.
At this point, I actually think that I can tell the difference between a Cameroon seed grown in South America
Uh huh.
versus an authentic Cameroon. What's your thoughts?
Well, I've had both. I've had all Cameroons.
Of
I've had
course.
ones. I've had ones that are raised in Africa. I've had ones that are not in Africa. I will tell you the best Cameroon that I have right now is probably the Whiskey Sunset. We call it the Spice Box. It's a spicy Cameroon, and it's sweet and spicy. It's very very good. But and it's up there with the Primordial. The Primordial is just a Habano, but that Cameroon. But I have had authentic African Cameroons. I've had the Perdomo, yeah, the Whiskey Sunset. It's a good stick. Um, I've had the Perdomo Cameroon, which is like one of the oldest African Cameroons. They're supposed to be. It's like a limited run box. They only make so many of. I've had that. That was okay. The CAO Cameroon is really good. I like that
Hmm.
CAO Cameroon, the little short little nubby, and I
Hmm.
like and then the Fuente. The Fuente Cameroon. Fuente just does it right, and that's African Cameroon.
Oh,
Um,
oh yeah, for sure.
yeah. So I love all those um, but we have a barber pole Cameroon actually in one of the pillar masterpiece is what we call it. Or no, it's called the what's it called? Twisted Fate masterpiece. Uh, we have it in the pillar size, which is like a 6.5 by 56 box press barber pole, which you're never going to find anywhere. And then you're going to find it's like the other one is a masterpiece, which is like a figurado. Reminds you of Between the Lines for Fuente
Yep.
Between the Lines,
Yep. Yep.
just
Yep.
like that.
Yep.
It's African Cameroon. and a what's it called, Maduro, which is really good. I can't believe the manufacturer did it. It's amazing, it really is. So a lot of guys
Now,
down that one.
now, now, Brad, what is your? Are you a biter? Are you a cutter? What's your
Oh,
favorite cut?
I cut everything. Straight cut.
I know.
Straight cut.
Okay, I noticed
Yeah.
earlier you had a V. So do you have a
I cut V
preference on
cuts.
size?
I do that. I do that because Justin always has it on the table, and I always forget a cutter and lighter. For a guy who's a cigar guy, I always forget everything, dude. I come show up, and the guy's like, "You got cigars?" I'm like, "Don't you?" You know, and I'm like, "Expect me to bring all my cigars here? I'm not gonna bring all my cigars. You bring your cigars, you know." So, especially when I go to someone's house I know smoke cigars, I'm like, "You got me a cigar?" And I'm like, yeah, but don't you have a store?" I'm like, "Yeah, but we're not there." So.
I know the feeling, man. I have the New Air 1500 count,
Yeah,
and every single time my friends come over, they're always like, "Can I have a cigar? Can I have a cigar?" And I know my friends when they're like, "I smoke one cigar or two cigars a year." I'm like, "I've got the cigar for you."
yeah,
Versus, I smoke all the time. I'm
right.
more willing to give somebody a not not necessarily a better cigar because I don't smoke shit,
Mhm.
but a different type of cigar if they
Right,
smoke more frequently that
right.
they'll be able to kind of appreciate that. So, well, Brad, in closing, I do want to ask, you
Yeah.
cannot say Winston Churchill. If there's somebody in history, any point in history, outside of the Lord and Churchill, who would you like to smoke a cigar with and why?
It's a really good question. Um, that's a really good question. Okay, outside of Churchill, outside of the Lord, uh, I like to find the Mayans who put the cigar together for the very first time, and ask
Okay.
them who took it from their nose and then put it in their mouth, because that's how tobacco originated. They would roll it up, stick it up their nose, and use it as a more of a stimulant as they're caning.
Really?
Yeah, that's the whole beginning of it. I can't believe no one talks about this, but yeah, the Mayans were the ones that created the cigars. In fact, the oldest cigars that we have on record were found in a Mayan temple, and they're maybe 1,000 years old. They're perfectly preserved in a clay pot. This was all humid and cold. Yeah,
Really?
yeah, you can look this up online. I'm not lying. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So
So the cigar was not originally lit. It was nose
usually,
candy.
and it was just like tobacco leaf they put up their nose, you know. And I
Okay,
went
so
to
like
I
a
went to
snuff.
Belize, yeah, like snuff. And so I went to Belize and I saw some of these writings and everything else. I was down there on a mission trip, and obviously I'm a big cigar guy. I have been all my life, so it's probably about 20. Can't remember how old I was maybe 26, 27. And I was down there and I was just enamored with it. And they're like, yeah, this is where I met an actual Mayan, a guy who comes from Mayan lines. And I was like, so tell me. He goes, well, cigars originated with us. I'm like, nah, okay. It always originated with you. And then later on, doing some history and some background checking and everything like that, yeah, it did originate with them. Now it's perfected in Cuba. We all know that. But I mean, like putting it all together as far as smoking tobacco, I'd love to sit down with the first guy who was like, what if I just rolled this together and tried to smoke it? And what was that like? Did he inhale? Did he start coughing? Did he like the taste? And how do you get from that to like fill a wrapper binder? I mean, I don't know how that all works out, but I like to find the first guy who ever smoked a cigar and be like, what was that like?
Oh
Or
yeah,
something like that.
I've seen, like, take a pineapple. Like,
Mhm.
how did you want to eat
Well,
that the first go around?
it's here's my sign off statement. It's really interesting. So there are people in this world that are just next level, and we all know that. Like they're just not that they're above us or need to look down on us. That with certain acumens that they have, they just rose to certain particular. Tell them Bradley, yeah, dude. Um, so I would like to sit down with people who are like world leaders and just ask them like, do you think to yourself like you're working for the greater good and that's why you make these sacrifices, or that's why you choose these paths, or do you really believe in what you're doing, or are you really corrupt, or I mean just what do you I mean I really want to know, like if you sat down with Mussolini or anybody like that, like, so why are you massacring these people, like that. I mean, why are you doing this, Che Carrera or any of these people. I mean, just why are you doing this? So there's got to be some kind of warped idea. Like, I'd like to sit down with somebody who's got this really warped sense of justifying genocide or something like that, and talk to them over a cigar and be like, why do you really think this is good? Why do you really? Because it's obviously terrible. It's obviously awful, But I thought about that because somebody asked me, would you ever want to interview Castro? I'm like, well, of course I would, but my interview wouldn't go well. I would be asking questions. I'd be asking really hard questions immediately because I'm not a respecter of man, nor do I fear man. So I'm not like, I'd be asking questions like, I'd make sure there's two of us and all the armed guards are gone and there's no AKs around. What's your problem, dude? What's going on? Do you see this? And I'd really like to see where that thinking comes from, because I think there's something in the human spirit that is desperately broken in different levels, and to get to that kind of level where you disregard human life is very tragic. And so it's always been a personal vendetta of mine to find people who have that mindset. And I've met a few of them that just don't care about people in particular, and ask what happened, who broke you, what happened, what ended up happening. So I love the interview that, but that goes into postmodern philosophy and everything else. Like, that's boring stuff nobody talks about, but those are people I'd love to sit down and ask those kind of questions with, like, what happened to you, and then hopefully introduce them to Jesus so they won't kill me. So
well, Brad, as always, my friend, thank you for being a friend. Thank you for always being willing to come on the show.
Absolutely.
And thank you for being brutally honest and extremely candid when you do come on. And I know Tag thanks you so much for giving him a shout out.
Tag.
So until we see you guys again, smoke what you like, smoke as often as you can, and check out zealcigars.com.
Absolutely, bro. Thank you so much, bro.
Week.
Appreciate you, man. We'll see you.
Bye-bye. Appreciate you.